Hey Nomads, today on A Fool and His Money Are Soon Parted, I'm going to address the question, why do multi-level market representatives fail to make money or lose money? This is a talk that's going to partake of some previous talks, and so you're going to see some slides that were in other episodes of A Fool and His Money Are Soon Parted. You can search them using the hashtag MLM. First, the obligatory preface. Nothing that is said is meant to demean any past, present, or future members of the Nomad Network. This is meant to entertain, to edify, to dissuade you from joining an MLM if you are so recruited, and to persuade you to quit one if you are a member. Okay, first, what is a multi-level marketing company? Every multi-level marketing company has four essential elements. The first, and perhaps the most important, and the one that defines these as pyramid schemes, and I'm going to address this in another episode, no pyramid schemes are not illegal. In fact, they are legal. That is why so many of them continue to do business legally in the United States. The endless chain recruiting model, which creates the pyramid scheme structure. Pay to play, in other words, to get this job, you must pay your employer. The only way to make money in such a company is to recruit, and to recruit heavily, full-time, as Dave Ramsey likes to say, nights and weekends. And another feature which is essential but is invisible is extreme money transfer. That is that the bulk of the revenue that is generated at the bottom of the chain is transferred immediately to the top of the chain. Now, to the essential question of today's talk, why do MLM reps fail? Here is what the standard party line, if you will, is. What MLMs and MLMers will say is the reason, or are the reasons why reps fail. Number one, the rep didn't want it. They didn't want to succeed, and that's why they didn't. Or they didn't work hard enough. This is perhaps the number one recommendation, although I put it second. Here's another typical one. You hear a lot about duplication, duplicability, coachability. And if a rep doesn't succeed, well, they didn't do exactly what they were told to the letter, right? So if you didn't, we told you what to do. If you didn't succeed, it must succeed. It must be because you didn't do what you were told. And then finally, the rep only wanted the discount. They didn't want to move up the chain. They didn't want to actually make money. They just wanted a discount on whatever product or service this was. And I'm asking in this talk, can you think of any other reason? Are there no other reasons why an MLM rep might fail? Well, in my episode on math, I explained perhaps the number one reason why MLM reps either fail to make money or actually lose money, and it's involved in the mathematics. At any given time, by definition, there is going to be a bottom tier in a multi-level marketing company. It has to be there has to always be someone at the bottom. In fact, in this model that I presented in the math episode, and you can go back and look at it, 2/3 at all times are going to be at the bottom. In fact, it's somewhere between 50 and 80% are always going to be at the bottom tier. And by definition, they are going to be ineligible for commissions from their downlines and are therefore not going to make money. And I also mentioned in that episode that the reason why not everybody can succeed is because if everybody did succeed, very quickly between levels 17 and 18, the U.S. population would be exceeded, and then when you get between levels 20 and 21, the population of the Earth would be exceeded. There is no way for everybody to succeed. In fact, it is only possible for the smallest number to succeed. So the number one reason why MLM reps do not succeed is because mathematically the majority cannot. By definition, the math demands it. Okay, but there are other reasons. And this all is grouped under what I would refer to as the rubric of life is unfair. I'm not introducing anybody to this concept, maybe to a term. This is the so-called normal distribution, not because it is normal, but by definition, this so-called bell curve is the distribution of most character traits, most attributes in a population. It is not characteristic of the income attained in a multi-level a multi-level marketing company, or perhaps any other company which is not bell-shaped like this, but is in fact hyperbolic, and I didn't show any examples of that. So what is distributed along a bell curve? Well, most famously, intelligence. In an intelligence curve, with standard deviations on the horizontal or x-axis, 0 there represents an IQ, an intelligence quotient of 100. This is the median, not the average, the median intelligence, which means that 50% of the population has an IQ above 100 and 50% has an IQ below 100. Now, if you look at the far left of this bell curve, starting at -2 standard deviations below 0, 2.5% of the population has an IQ, and that number happens to be an IQ of 70. 2.5% of the population has an IQ of less than 70. When I was growing up, that was the definition of mental retardation. Today we call it developmental delay. So there is 2.5% of the population which is essentially mentally incapacitated and is not able, by reason of gifts that they were not granted by nature, by God, by the universe, to be able to succeed in an MLM. By contrast, the upper, I'm sorry, I said that this was, yes, the upper 2.5% is the so-called genius range. Now, why is this important? Intelligence correlates with success. It is not a one-to-one correlation, but it is statistically significant, and it is positive, which is to say that if you are at the bottom end of the IQ scale, your chances of material success in life are less. And I would also argue that your ability to succeed in any endeavor, in any job, including an MLM, okay? And so there are reasons apart from your effort. There are explanations that have nothing to do, that are effort independent, that are market independent, and all have to do with your endowment. Now, just as intelligence is distributed on a normal curve, so is the ability to recruit. Okay, you're going to have the super successful, able recruiters in the upper 2.5% or the upper 13.5%, and you're going to have those who are just really, really bad at it, and that is a fact of life. So one of the reasons why MLMers fail is just they're just bad at recruiting, or can't recruit for whatever reason. It isn't just recruiting, it's also the ability to train. And not everybody is a natural trainer of other recruiters. In order to be successful in MLM, you must be able to motivate your team. Otherwise, because you know that, as I talked about in a previous episode, there is an enormous amount of churn, of dropout, of fall off. It's called a lot of different things. And to make your own job easier, you need to motivate those who you have under you to the extent that they are going to stay because your paycheck depends on it. Finally, all of that has to do with retention, training, motivation, and retention. Okay, I had an error in the other slide, so I zipped through it. Finally, there is an unfortunate fact of the cost. This is not final. An unfortunate nature of cost of living. Time is money, and I like this this picture because it is kind of an equation, a combination of time and money. If one needs to make money, you need a job. You can't have a commission-only contract sales position. And very often an MLM will recommend that that one start this endeavor as a part-time thing. If you are somebody who needs money, you simply are unable to work hard enough to succeed if in fact you need money. There is this myth, I think, that you can work on this part-time and then eventually you can replace your full-time income with it. I think that would only pertain to those who, as I talked about in the bell curve, in the upper 2.5, who are so good, who are so talented, and who are so smart that they are able to work as a recruiter part-time and to recruit enough people such that they are able to succeed in an MLM. It is exceedingly rare. So I want to go back to this. Do reps fail only because of a lack of desire? I don't think so. There are many, many other considerations. Did they not work hard enough? Yes, some don't work hard enough, but some cannot work hard enough, either because of demographic realities or because of their own genetic endowment. They are unable. Or is it the case that they just didn't do what they were told? Maybe, but can you imagine someone who did in fact do absolutely everything they were told and then failed to succeed because either the mathematics failed them or their genetic endowment failed them? Here's the bottom line. Folks, no matter what your genetic endowment is, no matter where you live, no matter what your intelligence is, you are way too valuable. Way too valuable. Your knowledge, skills, and experience are way too valuable to waste in a multi-level marketing company. That's all I've got for you for today. I will see you in the next episode.